Hello everybody, I hope you can hear me okay. My name's Rebecca and welcome to this webinar on Confessions of the Magento 2 Pioneers. Hi everybody, I hope you can hear me okay now. My name's Rebecca, welcome to this webinar on Confessions of the Magento 2 Pioneers. So for anyone who's on the ball today and joined us bang on time, wonderful. But we will just give one more moment to allow others to get onto the BrightTalk account and to join us. Now, while they do that, I've got a few housekeeping points for you. There is a questions tab at the top of your viewer, so I encourage you to please type in any questions at any time, and our presenters will then answer these at the end of the presentations. Also, you will be prompted to rate this webinar at the end, so please do take time to rate this, as your feedback will shape our future webinars. And if we don't get a chance to answer any of your questions today, or if you want to follow up with any of the presenters afterwards, they have kindly shared their contact details, and these will be on the last slide. A final housekeeping point for you, the webinar will be recorded and it will be available on BrightTalk afterwards. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our three presenters today, and hopefully we have a couple more people join us, and it looks like we have. So first up, we'll have Mohamed Nofal of Magento Commerce. He is currently the UK Enterprise Sales Manager of the digital commerce platform. He's worked across e-commerce, software, telco, and education over the last 15 years. Then up, we have Rachel Weir. She is Vice President of Global Sales and Marketing at Corra. And you'll hear an American accent from Rachel as she is presenting from LA, as Corra are a global e-commerce agency for fashion, luxury, and lifestyle brands. And then finally, we have Ben Staveley. And Ben is Head of E-commerce at dotmailer, the email marketing automation platform, and dotmailer are a Magento Premier technology partner. So it looks like quite a few more people have joined us. So to recap for those of you that have just joined, I was just introducing our presenters today. You've joined the Confessions of Magento 2 Pioneers, and we have three short presentations for you from Mo of Magento, Rachel of Corra, and Ben Staveley of dotmailer. So over to you, Mo.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. Hello and welcome to everybody that's taken the time to join us today. My name is Mo Nofal, and I'm the UK Enterprise Sales Manager for Magento. The goal of today is to show how Magento 2 sets a far higher level of code quality and performance than ever before, proving that if you want stability, amazing features, and scalability, both now and in the future, then Magento 2 is the right choice for your business. As Rebecca mentioned, my details will be provided at the end of this webinar, so please feel free to drop me an email or give me a call and I'll be happy to help. Magento offers an integrated suite of flexible commerce products that empower retailers of any size to grow and win in today's competitive marketplace and to become the trailblazers in their own right. The foundation of the portfolio is our digital commerce offering, which enables you to deliver unique and personalized shopping experiences to your customers on the desktop and across any mobile device. It is fully responsive. We enable you to deploy in whatever environment is best for your business, whether in the cloud, which we recently released with the full stack available there, dedicated hosting through our partners, or on-premise. The choice is completely yours. Next is the commerce order management, which is a new must-have for retailers and is the intelligence behind an omni-channel operation. It's designed to manage your orders and inventory and fulfillment services and can be the brains of your retail operations. We future-proof your innovation with an app store that is second to none, where you can find high-quality applications for your every business need. And I'll talk about this in more detail in a few slides. This next slide shows gives you an insight into how Magento is the leading global commerce platform. It's the #1 platform in both B2C and B2B, and clients spanning through small startups, mums and pops, through to mid-sized retailers, and then the 1 billion plus global conglomerates. With the launch of Magento 2, we're seeing more and more companies join us with revenues in excess of 100 million. So whatever the size of your business, whatever stage it's at, rest assured that Magento can assist you in stabilizing and growing. We've delivered more than 50 billion in commerce transactions annually across the globe, and it accounts for 26% of the global e-commerce market share. We have the largest network of commerce, technology, and system integrator partners ensuring project success. And this is something that we'll go into a bit more detail once Corra grabs hold. And merchants using Magento grow 3 times faster. So these are just some of the points that show why Magento is the platform to go for. Now, Magento's partner network, which is second to none, its ecosphere is unparalleled anywhere in the e-commerce space. We have an extensive partner network that can deliver any project. We have a 31% share of Europe's commerce platform market. There are over 100 Magento systems implementers in Europe, of course, of which Corra is one of our best and most favored partners. And Europe's top brands that are on Magento so far include Jaguar Land Rover, Hermes, and IKEA, just to mention a few. And to break that down a little bit more, if we look at market share by country, Magento 2 is in pretty much every European country. But in the UK, we have a 44% market share, and Germany 26%. So again, we are all over Europe, and the UK is one of our main focuses. So rest assured that you are in great hands with Magento. Since our release back in 2007, Magento has been the leading platform for the trailblazers of e-commerce. Our next generation digital platform has focused on building on that great heritage to continue to transform commerce. Magento 2 builds on our open source heritage, offering unmatched flexibility and performance, extends limitless innovation and opportunities with unrivaled global ecosystem of system integrators, technology partners, and developers. We took the best of the Magento platform and made it better in Magento 2. First of all, Magento 2 delivers enhanced flexibility that continues to make Magento the most popular platform in the world, with a commitment to open source, a thriving ecosystem to extend your capabilities, and an unlimited ability to customize your site. Second, merchants need the agility to adapt your business as opportunities and challenges present themselves. Not in 2 years, not even in 1 year, but right now. Whether you're launching a new brand experience, rolling out a new sales channel, or testing new products and services, only your imagination limits what you can deliver with Magento 2. And finally, Magento 2 delivers enterprise-level performance and scale to meet any demand. Enterprise Edition unleashes the power of your marketeers and merchandising teams to significantly increase sales and improve productivity like never before, with features such as customizable site search, enhanced content management, rich merchandising, expanded promotions and coupon capabilities, and advanced segmentation and personalization, which I'll discuss in more detail on the next slide. And there's so much more. One of the most powerful new features that you and your marketing and merchandising teams can leverage to drive growth, while at the same time improving efficiency, is our content staging and preview. Content staging and preview makes it faster, easier, and less expensive to implement all the content, product, and promotional changes you need to keep a site fresh and conversion rates high. It does this by allowing your team to easily create, preview, and schedule site updates without involving your IT team. This has got to be the main point of this. The easy workflow means your team can focus more on developing and testing compelling campaigns and planned updates so that they can easily optimize the timing of campaigns to maximize sales. plus all stage changes are deployed, removed at scheduled times, freeing your team to set it and forget it so they can move on to the next challenge. Some of the leading brands that are trailblazing on Magento 2 include 9 West in the UK, IKEA in China, and more than 5,500 other active sites. Some of these include Hermes, Helly Hansen, Kurt Geiger, Oliver Sweeney, and many, many more. Now, I mentioned earlier about the Magento Marketplace, and I wanted to cover this in a little bit more detail than I have so far the other slides. The reason being that I know previously the Magento Connect was a little bit like the Wild West. There were so many different apps and plugins and cartridges on there. Some of them did what they said on the tin, others unfortunately didn't. However, with Magento Marketplace, all of that risk has been eliminated because all of the extensions on there go through a rigorous testing process, very similar to the Apple App Store. You know that if you download an app through Apple, that the quality is going to be there and it's going to do what it says it will. This is exactly the same as with the Magento Marketplace and all of the apps that are included with it. We're continually refining our quality process and the marketplace user experience to ensure you can find the best extensions to enhance your site. So we have over 600 plus on there currently, and this is increasing at the rate of between 30 and 40 per week. So regardless of what apps you need, if they aren't already there, they can very easily be built. And I know that a lot of e-commerce companies out there talk about their roadmaps and where they're going to be in however long period of time. But the beauty of Magento and its open source technology in the ecosystem is the fact that you can create your own roadmap. You can really be the masters of your own destiny. So I'd like to leave you with the thought that Magento is the last platform you'll ever need. Thank you all once more for your time today, and I'll now hand over to Rachel from Corra to take you through some of the Corra projects and also show us just how closely Magento and Corra work together to deliver unparalleled levels of service and quality. Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, Mo. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Weir, and I'm Corra's Vice President of Global Sales and Marketing. And as you can likely tell by my American accent, and as Rebecca mentioned earlier, I'm personally located in our Los Angeles office. However, we have 6 offices globally, and that includes our London office. So today I'm going to be speaking through Corra's confessions on the Magento 2 platform, and hopefully our experiences will help shape your guys' confidence in this platform. So just to give you a quick background, Corra is a full-service agency located in New York, Los Angeles, and London as our main hubs, with a particular focus on lifestyle brands and retailers. We've been a top partner for Magento. This year, we won their Omnichannel Partner of the Year award in 2016, and then in addition to that, we've won a total of 4 Partner Excellence Awards during our partnership with Magento since 2009. What makes us qualified to be participating in this discussion with you is that we obviously were certified and trained on the Magento 2 platform, but in addition to that, we were a part of Magento's original beta program back in 2015. We launched our first Magento 2 website in November of last year, and then since then, we've worked on 12 more Magento 2 replatforms or upgrade projects. So we wanted to share a couple case studies, and we'll start with Alcatel. Alcatel came to Corra and Magento to replatform their US, Canada, Latin America, and Asian websites away from Amazon's legacy platform. So we included Alcatel in Magento 2's beta program back in 2015. Obviously, when we did this, we had to first get our developers up to speed on the Magento 2 new code base, and we did that through on-site training with Magento's developer team. Overall, this beta program went really smoothly for us. Candidly, we faced a couple challenges towards the end of the project because our team we realized that we had to get up to speed on some of the new CDN configurations, but we worked really closely with Magento's team to be able to get through that phase, and we felt that the launch went successfully. So what you're seeing on the screen, and I hope it's large enough, is essentially just a few screenshots of the Alcatel website, the homepage, product listing page, product detail page. You can see it's a relatively straightforward e-commerce experience, but it's definitely a product we're really proud of. And after the beta code went live back in November of last year, we then worked with Magento to go through that upgrade experience to get the client onto the generally available GA Magento 2.0 code. At that time, because this was much earlier in the year, that upgrade path was a manual process, but it did allow us to really deeply understand what that upgrade path looked like. It actually allowed Magento to have the opportunity to identify that upgrade path for future customers. So the next customer we wanted to talk about was Face Connection. They're a Parisian luxury contemporary fashion brand with a presence in France, the UK, and the US. This was a really unique project for us on many fronts. We launched a really beautiful, fully custom design experience and a complete Magento replatform within a 3-month time frame, which is a pretty unheard of time frame perspective, especially when you think about how much design work we needed to do. And this was an early M2 project. In addition to that, it was also an early Magento Cloud project for both us and Magento, so it was a really great learning experience. So as you can see, the project had some really cool, unique designs. With only 90 days to design, develop, and launch, we really had very little room for error. Being an early M2 and cloud project, obviously we were there to run into snags and identify those. Just to give you an example and be totally candid, some of the things that we ran into was that the admins, we weren't able to get the content pages to update from an admin perspective, and then we were having a couple issues with the logged in customers having some issues with the checkout. But at the end of the day, we really sat down with Magento and worked really closely with their team. We prioritized the blockers, we found workarounds so we could still achieve that 90-day launch time frame. And then Magento released to us patches for these bugs, and we were able to get that into the live environment within 1 week after go live. So everything was able to be solved for, and the project really, truly was able to be successful. Ultimately, the customer's really happy with the end product and are seeing an uplift in their conversion. So like I mentioned earlier, we've done over a dozen projects in total on the Magento 2 platform. These projects vary from M1 community users, M1 enterprise users, to complete replatforms from other systems. Many of these projects were really straightforward, and we ran into 0 issues along the way. Of course, some of them were pretty complex projects, and we did uncover some bugs, identified some bugs for Magento to work on, but truly they were far and few between. Ultimately, Magento's development team worked really closely with our developers so that we could determine a resolution as quickly as possible so there would be minimal impact to the project and the client. And really, at the end of the day, our feeling was that Corra, and especially some of our early clients, our early projects, were really there to be early adopters of the platform. We were there to identify if there was a bug or a limitation and work closely with Magento to help them overcome that and solve that. And Magento really took all of our findings, made the improvements, really to make the platform very amazing to work with. So shifting gears here a bit, I wanted to expose to you guys some of the intel that I gathered from our developers and our business analysts so that you could hear what their assessment was of the platform now that they've worked with it quite extensively. So from a technical perspective, our developers and system architects felt very strongly that the Magento 2 platform has some pretty significant performance improvements over M1. Additionally, they felt that the platform was a lot easier to work with, and it actually shortens the development efforts, which has allowed us to have much faster time to market on projects. A couple call outs that you can see on the screen that they really had was that there was a major code refactoring, which I think most people understand, but that allowed for the framework improvements and easier ability to customize and add extensions. The new platform now supports PHP 7, which is twice as fast as PHP 5.6, which was used previously for M1. And in addition, the new platform now separates databases. So you've got one for products, CMS, category data, one for checkout, one for order management, et cetera. And again, they feel these things really have improved the overall performance of the system. So from a business user perspective, our business analysts and product owners felt that there were several changes made that have really allowed for higher efficiency for admin teams and improved customer experiences from a front-end perspective to really streamline that path to purchase. Again, you're seeing a couple call-outs more specifically on the screen, but just to call out a few, they really felt that the back-end UX was totally overhauled, and there's been a lot of new features added, like you can actually use the admin on a touch screen, tablet. They feel that the checkout process was totally overhauled, and now it's actually fully customizable, which really allows us to be able to create custom experiences on a client-by-client basis. And then lastly, Mo mentioned this earlier, but our team reiterated this point that the Magento marketplace is truly totally overhauled, and it's a really trustworthy place that you can go and find reliable, vetted extensions. And it's actually made our lives a lot easier on projects. So we're really happy with that additional improvement beyond just the M2 platform. So all in all, Corra's team is really happy with the Magento 2 platform. Like you, I'm sure like many of you on the line, we were obviously skeptical up front, but we felt that we had the obligation to dive headfirst into this, that we needed to be an early adopter because that's what would best serve our clients ultimately in the end, is to know what this platform's all about and be there with Magento. And so through that, we found that Magento and this platform is a lot easier to work with. It's a lot easier to make upgrades to. It has far better performance. And now that we've been working with the Magento 2 platform for over a year, we can also truly say that Magento really showed that they really value us as a partner. They really valued customers. And they've been really great about working very closely with our team to have a huge success with the system. So with that said, I'd like to hand it off to my colleague, Ben, and our partner, dotmailer.
Thank you very much for that. Every time I see your presentation and projects you've worked on, I'm always amazed at how great you've done. A fantastic job. So I'm Ben Staveley, and I'm head of e-commerce for dotmailer, and also the product manager for the dotmailer for Magento integration. As Rebecca mentioned at the beginning, we are a premier partner, and what I'll quickly do is give you a run through of a little bit of information about dotmailer as a business. What we provide is email marketing automation, and effectively what that means is we empower marketers and merchants to communicate with their customers on a one-to-one basis, mainly through email, but through other channels as well. It will allow customers to manage all stages of their email marketing through a really easy and drag and drop interface. Doing so, we make it fast and easy to use, but yet powerful and sophisticated. We're constantly working on our platform, constantly updating and always adding new functionality. And we always enforce with our customers that they can start small and scale quickly, allowing all levels of marketing automation to be managed within the dotmailer application. We have a completely managed onboarding process that gets marketers up and running in minutes, and we also integrate quickly with other best-of-breed business systems. So as well as our integration with Magento, if you have other integrations with CRM systems or third-party warehousing or EPOS tools, we can also work with them. And the great thing about dotmailer is we also work with all ranges of businesses, from corporates to SMEs, and both B2B and B2C. So we've been working with Magento and Magento 2 since the day it started, and we wanted to share some of the experiences that we've had in doing so. The first one was an Australian-based organisation called Venroy, who were actually the first Magento 2 website that went live globally. They were not only the first Magento 2 site to go live, but it was also their first website. And since going live with Magento 2, they had a site conversion rate of over 38% and their mobile conversion rate by up to 80%. The great thing about Magento 2 for Venroy was it made it really quick and easy for them to get up and running and deliver the online experience that they'd already been delivering through the retail stores. Using the dotmailer for Magento integration, they then were able to pull key retail data out of Magento and use that within their marketing activity, segmenting their customers based on previous purchase information and targeting people and follow up based on when they might have future holidays. The second Magento 2 project that we worked on was with Sol. They're a relatively small team. They've previously been run by two sisters who started up the company, and they've previously been providing a very personalized, hands-on approach with all of their customers. So it was really key to them that they could expose that data from their Magento 2 site into their marketing and continue that conversation that they were having in their store, but with their customers online. Since moving to Magento 2, their online revenue grew by over 104%, and using dotmailer for Magento, we allowed their small team have a really quick and easy way to have that communication without all the time and hassle that previous tools were stopping them from doing. And the third project we wanted to talk about was Boutique One. Interestingly, with Boutique One, typically we see most of our customers starting the communication messaging with their customers right at the beginning, and this generally means it's a welcome program. However, Boutique One saw a slightly stronger audience that they wanted to focus on first, and that was their loyal customers. So using dotmailer and Magento 2, they pulled out key purchase data out of Magento and started rewarding and communicating with their customers who were making regular, frequent purchases, and they wanted to remain as loyal customers. Once they'd implemented that loyalty program, they moved on to a welcome series and abandoned carts, and we're now working with Boutique One on phase 2, which will be a series of campaigns to work on retention, looking at their lapsed subscribers and their lapsed customers, but also communicating with their customers who are using Magento 2's wishlist functionality and showing intent to buy things in the future. Looking at the requirements that we've had from our Magento 2 users, one thing that was very obvious to us right at the beginning was that the requirements of a Magento 2 merchant and their expectations were no different to the merchants we had on Magento 1. They expected to see a full customer data sync. They wanted to have access to all of their customers' previous order history. Abandoned cart had to be a must. And they also wanted to enroll customers on key automation flows when they perform certain actions on their website, whether it be placing an order, creating an account, or leaving a review. Merchants wanted to be able to communicate with their customers at every point of the journey. And then from an agency perspective, what they also wanted, in addition to what we were already delivering with our Magento 1 extension, was they wanted to utilize Magento 2's inbuilt testing framework and have that part and parcel within our code base. And they also wanted our extension to support their chosen deployment process. With Magento 2 using Composer, that was also a must for us. And we've been seeing some fantastic results by delivering all of this to both the merchants and the agencies. On average, we see ROI from our Magento clients in excess of 40 times, and the revenue that they're seeing from email marketing is almost 30% of their entire site's revenue, with an additional 24% of revenue being driven by sales through assisted by email marketing. And you can see also here some interesting conversion rates that we're seeing by implementing some of the most basic but common email automation programs using Magento 2 and dotmailer. As Corra mentioned, there was obviously a few learnings for us along the way that we uncovered working with Magento during the early stages of the Magento 2 project. But the one thing that we did learn is Magento are moving really quickly. And it was such a breath of fresh air to be working with such a large organization who were so adapting to feedback they were receiving from us and also other members of the community. So during the beta program, we went through several versions of beta, sometimes within a matter of weeks. And then as soon as it went to general release, we're already seeing ongoing releases and updates with functionality that they know merchants are asking for and agencies are feeding back to them. The one thing we're also learning with Magento 2 is that everyone is still learning and adapting as they go. We have a new code base, we have new deployment processes, we have new methods of testing and QA. So everyone from the SIs to the technology partners, to the merchants, to the developers, everyone's learning but really enjoying what they're doing and feel that Magento 2 is a great choice for them. Obviously, no software is perfect from day one, and it's important that you feedback anything you do find to the Magento team. And with that information, they are hugely responsive and hugely appreciative for anything you can do. And they've been a fantastic company for us to work with and reporting issues to and working with us. One thing you also need to do is be aware that the solution partners and the technology partners, we understand what each other are going through when working on Magento 2. From a merchant's perspective, typically it feels like they're just working on another project. So it's really important that you keep merchants and customers communicating with each other and letting them know about the progress and challenges and hurdles you might be facing. But keeping the communication open between all parties has been really important for us. One thing we've also noticed with Magento 2 is the expectation around code quality and performance is a much higher level than Magento 2 that we've seen across any other e-commerce platform, which is a fantastic thing to do and to see. It means that merchants are picking a platform which is going to be stable and reliable for them, not just for this year, but for the next 5 or 10 years in the future. And also, what we've also seen, which has been fantastic, is the community is really behind and supporting the Magento 2 project, whether it be contributing code directly to the code base, actively talking at events, or sharing knowledge and ideas and findings around each other. The great thing is, as always with the Magento community, everyone's supportive and helping each other out. So with that, we have a pretty bright future ahead with Magento and Magento 2. As I mentioned at the beginning, we're a Magento Premier Technology Partner. We're actually the only email automation platform to be selected part of that program. We're also listed on the Magento Marketplace, which, as mentioned earlier, is a truly reliable source now to find extensions to use on your Magento 2 site. And you can be confident that what you're downloading is going to do what it says on the tin, and it's going to deliver the results and the functionality that you expect from it. We're also a member of the Magento Marketplace Council, so unlike Magento Connect, Magento are now seeking for input and advice from within the community on what they can do with Marketplace to make it bigger and better and changes they could make. And dotmailer are lucky enough to be part of that council and providing that feedback to Magento to hopefully continuously make Marketplace bigger and better than it could ever has been. And then we're also part of a community extension group where top providers within the extension place are meeting up outside of the commercial world and discussing findings and learnings within the Magento 2 space and what we can do to improve it and make it better. So in summary, we're effectively completely committed to Magento and Magento 2, and we're continuing to release extension versions supporting every version of release that Magento 2 do. So at the moment we're on 2.1 and obviously in the future we'll continue to support their future releases. So I'm going to hand back over to Rebecca.
Thanks, Ben. I hope you can hear me okay. Everybody, this is Rebecca here again, as I'd like to kickstart our Q&A part of the webinar. We have 10 minutes for this, so please do get typing into your questions tab. I see there are some coming through already. And Mo, it looks like the first one is for you. Have you any references from Magento 2 clients that any merchants attending the webinar can speak to? So it's references from Magento 2 clients, and that question is from Mo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rebecca. Absolutely. If they would like to email me directly, then I can find out what industry in what vertical, and I can definitely take a look and find out which references would be suitable for them to speak to. I mean, we have clients that have signed up in so many different areas. So if they just want to speak to broadly to Magento 2 customers, then of course we can do that. But if they want to narrow it down to someone or a business that's more specific to what they're doing, then absolutely I can do that. Again, my details are there. Please feel free to give me a call or drop me an email, and I'll get those references straight out to you.
And thanks, Mo. And lucky you, because the second question is actually for you as well.
Oh.
How many, if you know off the top of your head, how many Magento 2 projects have your UK team been involved with so far, approximately? How many are live, and do you have any examples?
Was this for me or for Corra? I mean, I don't mind answering it, but I can.
First one is on how many are live altogether, perhaps with Magento 2?
Yeah, absolutely. So altogether, we have, I believe it is 60, close to 70 live, for which I can provide examples of. And we have many, many more in the pipeline. I joined Magento 5 months ago now, and I've seen numerous amounts. I mean, more than 50% of what we're signing up now is Magento Cloud, and almost 100% is Magento 2. So absolutely, there's plenty there, plenty going on. Now, with it being a steep learning curve for developers, our team, of course, helped to build it out. So I think that question is maybe more relevant to Corra.
Thanks, Mo. So on that note, there seems to be a follow-up question for you here, Rachel, and that would be that how easy is it for the new Magento 2 merchants to tailor, to customize to their needs when there are modules that aren't available? And has this been a steep learning curve for your developers?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I'll kind of break it down into a few different answers. So in terms of is the platform easy to tailor, to customize, compared to M1, M2 is more modular. So it is easier to add in customizations, add in and tailor certain areas of the system to add those custom features. In terms of the second half about modules potentially not being ready, that is an interesting question, and it is something that we faced, I would say, early on in the process. Speaking to November of 2015, our first M2 project, that was a major question that we had to deal with in terms of if modules aren't going to be ready, what do we do? But as we've progressed forward on more projects and time has passed, we really aren't facing that as an issue anymore. I'd say as a general rule of thumb, most of the modules or extensions you may want to get from the marketplace, the big ones are ready to go, and we really haven't had projects be stalled because we felt a module wasn't ready. So luckily, as this last year has progressed since the platform's been available, that issue has been overcome. And then the last part, in terms of a steep learning curve, obviously the systems are different, right? The code structure, the code, it is different, no doubt. But what I can say, and obviously I'm not personally a developer, but what I can say to speaking to our developers, their first project, which had to be executed on in less than 90 days, in that project, they both had to attend, on-site training sessions with Magento to learn the new platform and deliver the project all at the same time. And they were able to achieve it successfully. And they said, there was moments where they had questions and it was challenging and they faced challenges, but they were able to overcome it and launch, that initial site. So I would encourage anyone to head into it and take it on.
Thanks, Rachel. Now, this one may actually be for Ben as a technology partner of Magento. Ben, what were your recommendations to a retailer who is building a business case to have their existing extensions included in their Magento 2 implementation be? So that's if they already have existing extensions, perhaps they're already on Magento 1, looking to build a business case to move to Magento 2. As a technology partner, what would your advice be?
Thanks, Rebecca. I think with any replatforming project, it gives you a great opportunity to revisit your business processes and pieces of functionality that you may have on your website and reevaluate the need and the requirement and also the value that they provide your business. So with that, I think if you were in a migration project to Magento 2, I'd take a step back and look at any extension or plugin that you're currently using and look at any improvements that you could make, any processes that you think could be improved if you did things slightly differently. And then obviously head over to the new marketplace and have a look at the extensions that are available already. See if there's anything new available which might cater for some of your problems and make things that are potentially not quick and easy at the moment better for you as a business. And then also if they're not on marketplace yet, reach out to the extension providers that you're currently using on Magento 1. And look for information about when they expect to have their Magento 2 extension ready, but also provide them input on anything that you wish the current one did differently, or things you'd hope it could do in Magento 2 that it doesn't do at the moment. Because as a technology provider, listening to merchants and the problems that they need us to solve is one of the most valuable bits of information. But I think that my key takeaways really is that use it as an opportunity to evaluate what you currently have and requirements of continuing to need them. Look over at marketplace and see if there's anything else on the market that does what you need or even better. And 3, obviously reach out to the the extension providers themselves and provide them any feedback and input that you can.
Thanks, Ben. Now we've got quite a few coming in here, and we've only got 2 minutes left. We may just have time for one more, and then if your question hasn't been answered, you'll obviously see the contact details there of our presenters, so do feel free to drop them a message. As we've got time for one more, let me just call one out to you. So this is for both Mo and Rachel. How well do you think the Magento 2 default theme, so this is Luma, is performing for Magento 2 retailers? And perhaps to rephrase that then, with the Magento 2 default theme, how is it working for our Magento 2 retailers at the moment? Is it new or... So Mo, perhaps you could take that one first?
Yeah, absolutely. Luma is one of the themes that is straight out of the box. It's designed to be very straightforward and very easy to customize. So if they are looking for kind of a base to be able to build on, then Luma is an ideal starting place. And I'm sure Rachel will be able to add to that as well from the actual team that's working on it. But I've spoken to quite a few retailers that are on Magento 2, and nearly all of them, I think bar 2, have used Luma as the default to be able to build their bespoke theme upon.
Right, and just to expand on that, so Luma is definitely a really nice layout. It does convert well. We used essentially the Luma template for the Alcatel launch, for example, and their site performs really well off of it. The only thing is obviously for brands that have very specific brand experience that they're looking to achieve, like you saw with the Face Connection website, you know, Luma wasn't going to make sense for a high-end luxury fashion brand, so obviously it makes sense for us to build upon Luma and expand it in a way that makes sense for that particular retailer. One particular call out I do have with the Luma template, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but that checkout process performs really well. It converts really well. And so I think Magento did invest in a really nice checkout process. So generally speaking, we're using the standard checkout out of the box because, like I said, our testing shows that it's performing quite well for retailers.
Brilliant. Thank you, Rachel. Now we are bang on 45 minutes. So if our presenters haven't managed to answer all of your questions, there are quite a number through here. Again, just to reiterate that their contact details are on the slide that you can see there. So we're going to call it a day, and I'd like to say thank you again to Mo Nofal of Magento, Rachel Weir of Corra, and Ben Staveley of dotmailer. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.